Hey everybody, it's Miss A and I'm here with the recap video for variables, which the homework is due on 10/10, that's Monday. Tomorrow we will actually be doing something. I've been grading STEM Fair notebooks and there's quite a few students that need some help and maybe some time to collaborate with their peers. So I will be allowing them to work on that and make up a few extra points, but the grade that they have right now, if they don't do anything else, is the grade that stands. So this is variables. This is week 4 of the STEM Fair project. We have our standard that we have to learn, what we are supposed to learn. We're still using appropriate reference material to support and understand to obtain information. The essential question for today is, what are variables of our STEM Fair investigation? And I want to come over here real quick to show you a anchor chart that we have in the classroom so that kids can make sure they get it. Now, the standards do not say that the children need to know the actual vocabulary, but it states that they need to know what the vocabulary means. So they kind of go hand in hand. So we have our manipulated variable, which is also called independent. They might see it both ways. This is the way that we typically use it in Hillsborough County, but people do refer to it as independent because it is the one thing you change, it stands alone. That's why they call it independent. The one changed variable in the investigation. There can only be one. Then we have our responding or dependent. It's dependent because it depends upon what you've changed in order to get an answer, or it responds to the change. And this is the item of measure. So what are we measuring? And I'll go over an example in our little PowerPoint. And then we have our constant or controlled. These are held constant, which means they're held the same. All unchanged items in the investigation. So this is an anchor chart that does hang in the classroom. It's super important that the kids learn these and understand the vocabulary, as that is an accessible standard for them. All right, so let's get back to our PowerPoint. So here we have our vocabulary variable. It's the items in the project. Manipulated or independent variable, responding or dependent, controlled, constant, and it does have a little graphic organizer, which is the same thing that's hanging on the wall I just showed you. So what are variables? This is the process skill of controlling variables. You do need to control your variables in order to have a STEM Fair project that is done with fidelity. There are 3 kinds of variables: manipulated or independent. And this is the question you'd be answering when you are doing your variables. What one thing are you changing? Responding or dependent? What are you measuring? And held constant? Everything that stays the same. What am I keeping? What I am keeping the same is. So here is where we practiced identifying variables. They were supposed to write this in their graphic organizer. We really talked about today was the manipulated and the responding variable. We didn't go over the constant variable for the practice project, but as you can see, it's related to nail polish. It's all over there. So here's our topic. Which type of nail polish lasts longer on natural nails without chipping? So just reading that, the children were able to identify to me that that type of nail polish indicates the thing I'm changing. When I say type, that must mean I'm using more than one kind. And then the last longer indicates what I'm measuring. So right there we were able to figure out our manipulated and our responding just by reading the topic. And so the students were to write that in their notebook. And again, we focused on those 2. We did not focus on the controlled variables or the held constant. So again, type of nail polish is our changing, that word type. Last longer is our time. And I explained to the kids that time could be minutes, it could be hours, it could be days, it could be weeks. It just depends. So what we would do in this investigation is basically note the time and date that that they were painted and they were done. And then once they chipped, we would notate the number of days out up to the minute. And then there was another section for more practice. We didn't quite get to it, so I will put it up on here and they can practice it at home. The scenario is a bug repellent is sprayed on 5 people. 5 other people do not use the bug repellent. Everyone is outside at the same time, in the same location, wearing the same color shirt. The number of bug bites is recorded after 2 hours. So what is that independent or the manipulated? What is the one thing they're changing? And this is what the student should work on to help practice. And then the dependent or the responding, what are they measuring? And the scenario does really spell out what the one thing they changed and what they were measuring. And here's an example of variable notes. It has a date, it has variables, it has what I learned today, it has those 3 questions: what will I measure, what will I change on purpose, and what will I keep the same? So it has 3 questions. And then it says log time, which they will have time tomorrow to work on that. We will be going into the significance of their STEM Fair log and really getting the kids to get their STEM Fair logs back in order the way they need to be. With your STEM Fair team, write the manipulated variable for your STEM Fair investigation, write the responding variable for your STEM Fair investigation, write the constant variables for your STEM Fair investigation, and they are all due on October the 10th. I hope this video helps practice with those manipulated and responding variables, that scenario I gave you. And again, tomorrow we will work on this a little bit more. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good day. Bye.